Hey, what's up guys, thanks for joining me on part 2 of my top 10 cars under £2,000. Apologies for my raspy voice, but I'm just coming out of a cold. Now if you haven't seen part 1, go ahead and check it out, it will give this video a lot of context. And if you're feeling up for it, check out my other videos. All the music in the video is coming from no copyright sounds, so if you like it, go check out their YouTube channel. Otherwise, let's get into it. Now again, we're looking at 7 different criteria to come up with a rating for our cars. Now do remember that this is all opinion based and you'd probably come up with a better list than I have. So just let me know in the comments, I love getting you guys feedback. So starting from number 5, we have the Honda Civic. From what I found, mostly on the market was 2000 to 2008 models. It's also worth noting that there's loads of different types of Civics around, so definitely do your research for the one you're interested in. While the standard models might look a little bit boring, they definitely have a lot of interior space. And if you do want something a little bit better looking, you can go for the Type S versions. Now in terms of price, for what you're getting it's not too bad, all with relatively good mileage on them. A trade-off is however you might have to pay quite a bit of tax depending on what model you have. Insurance wasn't too bad either, with my lowest quote coming in at around £980. Of course this isn't the cheapest on the list, so stick around to find out more. In terms of performance, Civics can get 0 to 60s in about 10 seconds, which isn't fantastic, but they get a lot of marks from their reliability. Hondas are very well known for being reliable cars, and you can pretty much assume that their VTEC engines aren't just going to blow up on you. So yeah, I've given it a 6.5 out of 10 because I do think it's a pretty good car, and I don't think you could easily go wrong with it. Coming in at number 4 on my list is the Mazda III. This car is great to drive with plenty of passenger space, and I personally think it looks pretty good, with modern styling and quite a nice interior. Mostly the market had 2004 to 2008 models, all for a pretty decent price considering the mileage and the condition of the cars. Realistically, you can expect to spend about $1.5 grand for one of these, with some decently low mileage, and as a plus there are actually quite a few of them on the market, so it shouldn't be too difficult to find one. Now generally there are quite a few different models on the market as well, so some may be pretty good on tax, some may be pretty bad. Insurance for a standard 1.4 petrol for me came out to be about £800, which is pretty good. I think the reason being is the 0 to 60 time for this particular model is about 14 seconds. However, you can get models that can do it in about 10, and you can even get the 2.3 litre MPS model, which does it in around 6 seconds. With regard to reliability, Mazdas are pretty solid, and I don't think you can go wrong with them. As always, just look after your car and it'll look after you. Number 3 on my list is the Peugeot 207, specifically 2006 to 2009 models, which is what I found on the market. Like number 7 on my list, the 307, I don't think they're the worst looking cars, and I'd happily drive around in one, especially with the sports and GT variants of the model. The 207 also comes with a wide variety of engines, which if you get the diesels you could save quite a bit on tax. Generally you can get a pretty good 207 for a reasonable price, and when you consider the potential savings you can get on tax, the insurance is even crazier. Insurance for me was only about £520, which is the lowest I've got for any car on my lists. There are a few drawbacks however. They do tend to have pretty sluggish petrol engines, which aren't going to get you anywhere in a hurry. Some of the diesels though, with their turbochargers, are actually pretty good. Now, as I mentioned with the 307 in my other list, they do tend to have electrical issues, so it's definitely worth keeping this in mind if you purchase one. Overall, it's a pretty decent car and I would recommend one. Number 2 on my list is going to be slightly controversial, but I'm going with the Suzuki Swift. It may not be the best looking car, but it makes up in points elsewhere. The models I found on the market range from 2003 to 2008. You are going to be paying for distinctive styling, which some people might not particularly like, but you're getting good value for your money and you're getting great interior space. Now speaking of money, you'll be paying about £1,500 for one in good condition, and I would really advise you to buy one post 2005 because the Swifts before that didn't really have a great reputation. Now for insurance, you can see that this is very low for me as well, which is great because you can get diesel engines which are good on tax too. Performance wise, the Swift is pretty average, doing the 0 to 60 in about 10 seconds for pretty much all variants of the model. Now I know some people aren't going to like this being at number 2, but all I'm saying is it's not a bad car. Just give it a chance and you might find that you actually quite like it too. Now, for number 1 on my list, personally, I've gone for the Ford Focus. For me, it's not the best looking car on the list, but it really does make up for it everywhere else. Mostly, I found the 2005 to 2009 models. These hatchbacks have a great choice of different engines, with really cheap tax if you get the diesels. I'd expect to be paying about 1.3 to 1.4 thousand for one with good mileage and one that's in relatively good shape. And if you're lucky, you can get econetic models which cost virtually nothing when it comes to tax. And insurance for me for a standard 1.6 petrol is around the £750 mark, but it really depends what engine you have, and there are quite a few different types of engine. Reliability shouldn't be a problem on the car as it has really good ratings, and also it has the best rating for safety on the list. The only thing I could really fault it on is its performance. Mostly you're going to be stuck with the 0 to 60 latency time of about 10 seconds, which is pretty average for this list. Anyway, that's it for this list. If you like the video, please click on that subscribe button. It really does help. And if you think anything should be changed in the list, please leave a comment below. I do really like the feedback and I like learning from you guys. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. See ya!